Hi everyone. I haven't done a video for a while, but today I just thought it was a good time to talk about Vidcon and TANACON. And one of the reasons I thought this might be a good topic is because we went, Sophie and I, and the family, to Vidcon this year. And we also actually tried to go to TANACON. And of course, as we all know, TANACON turned out to be a bit of a disaster. The rest you already know. One of the reasons I thought it would be good to talk about this subject is because as a creator, the concept of TANACON having been about, all our featured creators, right? Well, that wasn't really my experience because as a creator, for example, when I heard TANACON and the concept of TANACON and of course the bad experience that Tana went through with Vidcon, which is not really cool, I thought, okay, well, let's reach out to TANACON and maybe be part of it because I felt it was generally a good idea. Now, I was a little concerned about security and things like that because I realized as running a business for many years that, there's a bit to running a convention and a bit to running any business. So I already was a little skeptical thinking, well, I wonder how this is going to go, but I figured, she's going to get the right help, and there was, another company involved in it, and it wasn't her website, that kind of thing. And I figured, well, you'd think somebody knows that, what to do. Our experience as a creator, for example, is that we try to reach out to Tana, and in different ways. We tried DM, Twitter, the official emails and numbers that were there, because we wanted to reach out and maybe be part of it. We thought that was kind of a good general concept, and well, she's kind of talking about inclusivity with everybody and creators and also bringing fans together and those kind of things. And we thought, well, that sounds like a good idea because VidCon last year was a bit tough for us too. We didn't get much attention there, and of course it's a big corporation, and to a point we have to understand that there's a lot of people asking something of VidCon. So I thought, well, let's give Tana a try. Sophie loves to perform live and sounded like a nice community, YouTubers with a good purpose. So, we reached out in various ways that we could think of, and, what was kind of disappointing actually is that we never heard back from anybody. And we, over a period of probably, good 2-3 weeks or however, something like that. And we were surprised that we didn't even hear anything when somebody so much about the creator. I kind of felt like, that's kind of interesting that we don't get to hear anything. Nobody cares is kind of what you feel like, right? Which is kind of like the VidCon experience, to be quite honest. But anyway, so we thought, oh well, if you look at the featured page that went up, we saw a lot of relatively big creators, and we kind of Googled them and realized, well, they're all 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. We're not there, so maybe we're just not that interesting, right? And so, we just kind of figured, oh well, so much for the whole concept of, well, it's all for the creator, that kind of thing. And well, anyway, it is what it is. Then we decided to go to VidCon and just forget about TANACON. We did have an opportunity at VidCon to perform this year. We were invited by FameBit from YouTube to perform, so Sophie was really excited about that opportunity and just to be, again, with other creators and in the lounge. So we did that, and Friday came along, because VidCon was earlier. We thought, well, maybe we should show up at TANACON anyway. It did seem like a great idea to meet people, see people, because that's what it's about too. Going to these conventions, at least for me, is that we want to meet other creators. We've been doing this stuff ourselves for a long time, and it just seemed like it would be nice to hook up with other creators and maybe some collabs in the future, that kind of thing. I mean, generally that's what conventions are for, right? So we actually went online, noticed the tickets were still available, and we did hope that we can, as a creator, that maybe can add some value at TANACON performance or something. We may not need to buy tickets, and we're family 4, and we already had tickets for VidCon. We thought, maybe the free tickets will show up again as well, and so we looked, and that was kind of interesting to me actually that the free tickets were on there once, but they never showed up again, because I watched it for a good 2+ weeks, whatever it was, and they never came back. I think it was maybe Friday morning early, I think, we thought, let's go to TANACON. So we decided to go ahead and buy 4 tickets, and they were still available. We thought, okay, must not be at capacity. We were right across the street in another hotel. We'll go ahead and check out TANACON. We did, get free tickets at Vidcon this year, so that was really good. So we thought, we'll go ahead and buy 4 tickets for the family and check it out. Later on that Friday, when we got done with the performance and everything, we thought, okay, let's go ahead and leave Vidcon and start heading over towards the hotel, stop by, get a few things, and then go over to TANACON. Well, that's where it got really interesting. My wife Leah and Dominic went to the hotel first, because Sophie and I were still doing something, I forgot exactly what, but so they went ahead, and then as soon as they got towards the hotel, they noticed a lot of girls crying, people crying in general, and a lot going on in the street, and apparently that's when the SWAT team or somebody came and shut down the whole event. And so she called us and said, hey, something happened there, the event is off for today. We ended up going to the hotel anyway because we were kind of curious if it might open or whatever's going on, and we kind of looked across the street. And as we approached the hotel, quite a few people noticed Sophie and wanted a picture, and that was kind of fun, and Sophie enjoys that, loves meeting people. So, and then we hear from them that there's several of the people that they actually went to TANACON. And they were really upset about it, and they all sat around the hotel, didn't know what to do, and so I felt really bad for them because they were waiting for the next day because they had hopes that TANACON would open, and we actually thought too, well, I guess we'll go tomorrow, see if they figure this out. Anyway, it was really almost kind of heartbreaking seeing some of these people that were just running around all over the streets there. And in fact, at the Creator Hotel, there was a whole group of people just waiting there the whole time. And I saw the TANACON badges, and so you could see that a lot of people just didn't know where to go. All these people are just kind of hanging around that area in general, and we were almost thinking of going over there, see what's going on, but with all the things that were going on, we're thinking, well, maybe we shouldn't go over there. It might be a little dangerous because, we were a little worried that, if there are too many people, and depending on what's going on over there, we don't want to bring a 14-year-old girl in the middle of all that in a kind of a bad situation, although, we wanted to be available for people that knew Sophie, and just so we can, say hi, and Sophie, like I said, really enjoys that part of it. But we didn't, because we thought it might be a little unsafe. So anyway, though, in a nutshell, that was our TANACON experience, and we found out the next day that that wasn't happening. It kind of made sense based on what was happening, but I was really disappointed to hear that the event could go off that bad. And to be honest, knowing Shane was there and some other bigger YouTubers, I figured, well, they're not going to do that if the security aspect isn't to some extent taken care of. So it was really surprising to see that this kind of happened, really. But I guess it makes sense, meeting in a hotel room, in a convention room, what do you expect, right? But this might be a good segue to move into VidCon, because VidCon, for example, I hear so much bad about it and how it's bad for creators, and we've experienced both sides of it as well. This year we had tickets to go as a full access because Sophie was an invited guest. It's a little different than a featured creator. It's a new status they have now, probably because Vidcon is now at the head of it. And that was really good because we did get 2 passes that allowed us to be in a secure place if needed be, so that was nice. But also to get behind the scenes and more and see other creators, be able to go to the hotel, meet other people, possibly some collabs. We ended up doing 1 collab. And just to meet other YouTubers. That's why we go. We want to collaborate with other people. We don't want to do this all alone. And Sophie's really excited, and so am I. And we also have an opportunity to help even smaller YouTubers than us, and so we're excited to meet other people. And I have to say, that's one thing with VidCon, although it gets a lot of slack, it does provide a safe environment. It takes a lot to set up, a lot of classes for all the different, community pass, the creator pass, full access, some other benefits around that. The transportation, safe transportation, I've heard a lot of problems they've had there as well. Understanding business, I appreciate what they're doing to kind of create a very safe space, and there's security everywhere, and the convention center is big, it's secured in many different locations, so as a creator, and I would assume a larger creator can be in a safe environment, which is going to be really important, because what happened at TANACON, I mean, to me is just not acceptable. I mean, you as a creator, if you're put in a situation where, whatever amount of thousands of fans can come and there's no security in place that can prevent problems. So I'm glad that nothing happened at that event, because what I saw at Vidcon is there's just security everywhere. They're really watching that people have the right passes, which, it can get a little annoying. We're a family of 4, for example, and 2 of us was able to go meet, everybody behind the scenes and see everything, which was awesome. But 2 of us, oops, my battery ran out. Anyway, back to VidCon, and so, again, we had 2 sets of passes. One was a full pass, and then the other half of the family had creators passes, which we happened to get because we were doing the performance at the FameBit launch. So it was great to be comped for a change, because we spent a lot of money going to all these events, and it feels like it's just a big black hole all the time. So it was nice to actually get comped for these. So we're appreciative of that. We did try to see if we can get full access pass for the family, but that wasn't possible. And after experiencing the conveniences from the hotel to the event and the efficiency and being able to go in the back, so I can, again, as a larger creator, I could see that being a must, because you can't walk in the front door. For us, it really wasn't an issue. Sophie was able to continuously meet people, take pictures, so that was fun for her, and we love that we can be out there and doing that. So that, I think that was an important part for us at this stage, at least. And so, having experienced that, I'm going to say I can appreciate all the work that goes into organizing such an event. And as a business person, I have to say, you've got to be able to make money when you're doing something like that. I mean, I look at that schedule and there's so many panels, so many things going on. And yes, the creator may not get paid for it, or the average creator maybe just get comped to a hotel or something like that. Maybe the passes, those kind of things. But I mean, why do I go? I go because I want to learn something, be around other creators. Having a full access pass this year, had access to other things that we would normally not have access to, so we get to talk to other creators, be with other creators, everything from, just cappuccinos or food in the full access locations. I mean, those are benefits, along with meeting everybody and the parties, and I mean, those things cost money. I mean, granted, half these things are sponsored, but somebody's paying for them. And if somebody has the ability to coordinate such a complex event, and I really have to say, looking at VidCon this year, I realized, especially from seeing it behind the scenes, what goes into it. And I can appreciate that, especially with what went on at TANACON, right? To see, and then again, as a creator, to feel, just to personally feel like nobody really cares about the small creator. At least that's what I felt like, because we could not get anybody's attention, even the official addresses. If nobody wanted us to perform, and if your purpose is about, for the small creator, bringing creators together, all the things that Tana went through that, was a bad experience for her, then at least somebody should email back and say, we don't have any room, we've got enough going on, whatever, you're too young, something, but never to hear anything at all. is not what I expected from TANACON, and that disappointed me in itself. But you know, it is what it is. I figured they've got enough going on, you know, benefit of the doubt I gave them. So anyway, but that's just bottom line, that's the experience. On Vidcon, on the other hand, you know, we did ask. We sent an email in asking if there was any performance opportunities. We did get an answer back, and most of the time it was, you know, things were already planned and filled, because I realized these events, they do this like a year in advance. So I understand, you know, that you've got to get to know where to go, but obviously on TANACON it wasn't much easier, so as a creator I got even less response there. On Vidcon, on the other hand, we did get a response, and but we were invited. Sophie was invited as an invited guest, and we were able to get another ticket, one for, you know, myself, I guess she's a minor, and we were able to get, you know, and again have that experience that I mentioned. Yeah, and it was a bummer that the rest of the family couldn't go in the same way, and so in a way we were split. But you know, I'm going to just have to say, if they say okay for our family, I mean, I was at the YouTube party. Okay, this time my memory was full, so let's try again. Anyway, I think I was saying, as many people that I saw at the YouTube party, it must have been, I don't know, I mean, I almost feel like it's 1,000 people that walked through there. It was a ridiculous amount of people. It was so packed. But it was cool to meet other creators again there. It was awesome. And when I think about if everybody's family were to go along, I mean, how are they going to accomplish that? And you know, so I guess I have an understanding that there's only so much you can do. And you know, it wasn't perfect, but the rest of the experience was good. And yeah, you know, and I've talked to other YouTubers as well, and they feel the same way. Some of the family members couldn't go. But, you know, I'm just going to say again that, you know, I think overall it's kind of a fair game. I do appreciate, you know, getting an email back at least saying we don't have any performance spots, which we heard more or less that they were already set basically for, you know, for it. And I've heard that in a lot of places, but you get something back. And, you know, and it takes a little time to build a, you know, kind of a resume of what you're able to do. So again, get that as well. But at Vidcon, I did appreciate this year that we got an invited guest pass, because, you know, the bottom line is Sophie does get recognized quite often. Most public places we go to, with a certain amount of people, somebody recognizes her. So going to Vidcon and not having the option to go to the back somewhere, it's scary in some way, because I've heard so many nightmares, and seeing the videos, and it sounded like a nightmare, but I wouldn't imagine that would happen. But you know, let's just say when you see examples like that, you at least, you know, again, with a 14-year-old, have a responsibility. Again, from the sake of Vidcon, I did appreciate that, and we had a great time. It was a great event, met a lot of good people, really feel like we're part of that YouTube community, have an opportunity to work with other YouTubers, get to know other people, collaborate with them. I mean, that part was really good. I mean, it is a networking event. I've went to many in different industries that I'm part of. And as a creator now in YouTube, Vidcon really did provide a good, safe environment. Anyway, hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you know, you like topics like this. I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with this channel. I kind of got a good idea, but for now, you know, it helps if I know what topics are interesting. Something like this is of interest for the people that, you know, get to see it. It'll give me some guidance in the kind of things that I'm thinking of doing with this channel. And for those that are curious, I'm kind of imagining that you know, a father's perspective, a creator's perspective that has kids that are into YouTube, want to be part of YouTube. I think that having that perspective may be helpful for people. Also, our challenges, our struggles, the goods, the bads, things that we go through, frustrations, the challenges to possibly make it a viable, you know, even business, because, you know, how can you teach your kids on that they can do something they'd love if they can't make any money in it, right? I mean, then they're going to need a job and do this as a hobby. So part of my goal and kind of a challenge is, as an entrepreneur, to look at this with a different eye, because I was told, you know, get a real job and stuff around music and art is a hobby. And I really feel today that doesn't have to be that way. And I think that's what gets me going, and maybe partially what I'm thinking of doing with this channel. So we'll see. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, any other topics specifically that would help you, things that would you'd like to hear, things that might be of interest. I might experiment a little bit and we'll see where it goes. All right. I know I'm a little stiff on this whole video thing. It's a little weird to look at a camera. I'm usually behind it, but I'm working through it.